Hi, and welcome back to How to Clinical Research. I'm Eric Lambert, and today we're going to talk about how to transition from being a clinical research coordinator on the site level to being a clinical research associate on the CRO or sponsor level. So this is really based on a video request that I got just recently, and I think it's worth making a video on because this is, I think, a question that has come up from time to time in my career where people don't really know how to make that connection from working on the site level and to get into the sponsor level. People get confused on how to make that connection. So that's what this video is about. It's about showing the employer, the hiring manager, that you know the job that you are applying for. And the way that you do that is by, for one, fixing your resume to not speak as if you're working on the site level, but to speak as if you are working as a CRA. Now, the reason why this works is because on the site level, as a CRC or a clinical research coordinator, everything that you do is tied to your monitor, to your CRA, right? So, for instance, they do a feasibility, or they send out a feasibility questionnaire. You, as a site coordinator, will be in charge of getting that completed. They come down for a pre-site visit. You, as a coordinator, are going to work with the monitor in conducting that visit. They are going to come down to do an SIV. You, as a coordinator, are going to work with them on conducting that SIV, and so on. This applies to the interim monitoring visits and the closeout visits. And every time the monitor comes down, you're working right there with them. So on your resume, you need to list as if you are working as a monitor, essentially, right? Don't talk about, oh, I saw this many patients today and completed this many blood draws over my career. But you want to talk about in terms of, I conducted this many, site visits with the monitor, and list them out. The PSV, SIV, IMV, and the COV, the closeout visits. Now, another big thing are the systems that sponsors and CROs use. So they use the eTMF systems, the EDC systems, and the CTMS systems. On the site level, you might typically only use the EDC and the CTMS systems. But sometimes sponsors do give you access to the eTMFs so that you can upload your documents into that program for the sponsors to review, so they can maybe do some remote monitoring. So that's kind of what you want to touch on as well, is your system experience, and also in terms of helping with those remote monitoring visits, right? Because you are ensuring that all the documents that are in your reg binder are also in the eTMF. You're ensuring that your source data matches what you're putting into your patient binder, which also matches what you're inputting into your electronic data capture system. You're also working on device or drug accountability, making sure that you are keeping records of all of the device or drug shipments, dispensations, quarantine certain devices or drugs if they are expired or you need to send them back, and so forth. This is what a monitor does, right? They're just working on the other end. And you want to highlight essentially everything that you do with the monitor so that you can express to the hiring manager that you know this job. So another big thing, that what we just touched on was source data verification. And then there's, the site management aspect of this. So as a monitor or as a CRA, they are working to manage, a number of sites on one or two trials that they might be working on. As a site, you're only, working with yourself essentially. But what you can relate to this is that the CRA is working with a lot of different departments to manage the sites. So they're working with medical affairs, they're working with safety, they're working with other monitors, maybe the in-house team, they're working with their directors, their project managers, and so forth. You on the site level will also be working a lot with these people, right? You'll be working with data management. You'll have to obviously submit medical records to the safety team and medical affairs team on the sponsor level. You have to upload all of the screening data for patients to get reviewed, essentially. And by you working on those things, and submitting them to the sponsor, you are working with those other departments that the CRAs typically work with. And that's kind of what you want to highlight as well. Speak about it as if you are essentially working for a sponsor already. That way, when the monitor or when the hiring manager at the sponsor or CRO are reviewing your application, they're going to read your resume and they're going to see essentially a CRA's job description, right? And that brings me to my next point. Look at CRA job descriptions. All right, so go onto LinkedIn. Pull up a number of job descriptions for a CRA and read through a few of them. And you're going to see that they're essentially all the same. It's going to talk about everything that we just mentioned. It's going to talk about working with different departments, such as medical affairs, safety, data management, and so forth. It's going to talk about site management experience. It's going to talk about regulatory experience, which is, the IRB submissions and all those things. It's going to mention source data verification. It's going to mention monitoring, which are those visits that we just mentioned, the PSV, SIV, IMV, and COVs. And it's going to list essentially all these things, right? And you want to make sure that you are reviewing those job descriptions and make sure that your resume essentially matches that job description. Okay, you're essentially painting a picture for the hiring manager so that they don't see you as a site coordinator. You want them to see you as already a monitor, okay? Because everything that you've done on the site level essentially overlaps with that of a CRA or monitor. So that's really where the key to this is. Now, of course, you should look back on my other playlists of how to become a CRA, because then I talk about everything involved in terms of the interview process, how to write your resume and so forth. So be sure to check that out. I'll put a link to it here, and I'll also put a link to it at the end of this video so that you can go ahead and just click straight to that playlist if you're interested. But I think with this essentially blueprint of how to transition and make that connection from being a CRA or from being a CRC to becoming a CRA at either the CRO or sponsor level, you'll be able to have all the tools that you need to be successful at that. Now, this brings me to another point too, is if you're interested in some additional help, like I mentioned in my last video, I actually officially incorporated or made an LLC for Lone Bear Industries. I put the title right here. And you can go ahead and reach out to me if you would like some consulting or career coaching services as well, and I'll be happy to arrange that with you. If you are a site owner and you would like some consulting on different things that are going on with your company, maybe you need help with finding research studies for your company, or maybe you have you need some help with bettering your contract and budget negotiation process. Really anything under the sun on the site level I can definitely help with. So again, if you're interested in that, be sure to send me an email and I'll be happy to help you out. We can arrange to talk, find out kind of what's going on, and then essentially just sign a contract for consulting. So with that said, guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope you liked it. It's kind of a quick simple video that I wanted to make, but also one that I think would be really helpful for you guys. So be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you have any other videos that you'd like to see or questions that you have about any of this process or any other process in clinical research, be sure to comment down below. Let me know. I'll be happy to help. And check out the links down below as well. I have some Amazon affiliate links. Those do help out the channel. If you purchase anything through Amazon using those links, I get a little small kickback, so that I really appreciate it if you could do that. And be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell button, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.